So the next topic which we are going to talk about is method overloading. What is method overloading? Method overloading is a concept wherein a method, okay, before even I talk about what is method overloading, what is meaning of the word overloading? So, or rather, we are now jumping into the concept of OOPS, which is object oriented programming. So there is one concept here which is known as polymorphism. Okay, so what is polymorphism? What is meant by poly? Many. Morphos is kind, right? So we are going to look at the concept that a particular method exhibit more than one form or one kind of one operation. Okay, so this is known as polymorphism. How does polymorphism work? I will explain it to you with an example. So if you will go to create an example, let's say I have a class here, okay, and I have called this class as method overloading. You can give any name of your choice. Now this has a main method, and we know if I run this program, it will call main and it will get executed. That is a simple program. Now what I'm going to do here is this, that I create a method called static void add. Okay, and here I will say, in this I will pass two arguments, int a comma int b, and I'll say sys out of a plus b, sys out of a plus b, right? Now I create one more method here. In this method I am going to pass three arguments instead of two, int c, a plus b plus c, right? Now if I call this method add, what it will, and if I pass values 10 comma 20, which method will get called? One at the line number 10. Why? Because it matches with the number of arguments there. Similarly, if I call another method with 3 arguments, it will call the next method, isn't it? And the reason is because it has to match the number of arguments to call that particular method. Okay, so if I run this program, I'll get 10 plus 20 is 30, 10 plus 20, 30 is 60, right? And we know why we are getting called, why a different method is getting calling. So this concept where you have same method name, if you will see, the method name is same, but the arguments that you are passing is different, or the number of arguments you are passing is different here. This concept is known as method overloading in Java. Okay, yes, no. So here the number of arguments is different. Now I can have different data type also. So here I'm adding two integers. I can add two string also. So let's say I have static void add of two string, which is string s1 comma string s2. Okay, and you say sys out of s1 plus s2 here. Okay, now here if I call that add of the method with two strings, which I'll call as a and b. What is a string? String is a collection of characters which is in double quotes. We'll talk more about this later, but this time it will call the method here at line number 18, right? Because I am passing two string variables. So this concept is known as method overloading in Java. Yes?
We can say having the same class name with a different.
No. These methods could also be in a different class itself. So let's say I create class my calculator, my calc I will call, okay, and I can have this method defined in the class itself. It does not depend on the class, but it depends upon the method. Okay, and now what I can do is I can create instance of this class. I can see CLCI. I had to be CLCI. I will take this equal to new of this, right? And I'll say calc dot of that method call, isn't it? So it is not that it had to be in the same class, but the method name is same and the argument number of argument type is different. Yes?
Same name with different argument.
Yes. So this concept is known as method overloading in Java.
मतलब एक ही मेथड पे हम लोग मल्टीपल ऑपरेशंस परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं इसलिए उसको बोलते हैं.
Yes, that is right. Based upon the number of arguments, you can do a different operation. This concept is known as method overloading in Java. Okay, so please quickly program this. So the next concept, okay, now before so what is a function? Function, I have already told you, is a method. Yes, function is also called a method, which is a collection of statement. So let's look at a new concept, which is constructors in Java. So what is a constructor? What is meant by word construction? Creation of something, right? Yes, no. So let's say I have this class here. Yes, this class is having a class. There is a class with a main and a simple class called construction, right? Now in this, if I define a method which is void display, I can say this out of I am display, right? So if I create instance of this class construction here, for example, yes, and if I say construction dot, I can say display. So if I do this, what happens? The method will get called. So this is something which we were aware of. It is nothing new which I have explained, right? Now let me create one more method here, which is a constructor. So what is a constructor? Constructor is a special kind of a method. The name of the method same as the name of the class. Yes. So here I'll say I am constructor, right? Now if I execute this program, you will see that although I am not calling this constructor, but it gets automatically called. It is automatically called. So if I right click and run as Java application, do you see that I am constructor getting called? Yes. Did I call it? No, I did not. So constructor is a method whose name is same as the name of the class, and it gets called when you create instance of that class, right? So when you create instance, that constructor is automatically called here. Yes, no? Can you type this code quickly? Okay, so in the second case, in the case of display method, I said object name dot display name. If I comment this line, will it call the method display? It will not call, right? But in this case, I just created instance of that class. As a result of this, the method constructor is called automatically by Java itself. Internally, it is getting called.
Okay, for that method, we don't have to create an object.
For which method?
Sorry.
We have to create object, but you don't have to call it explicitly. It is automatically called for you. Okay, what is the use? I will talk about it in some time. But do you understand what is constructor? Constructor is a method, a special method with the name same as the name of the class, and it is called automatically when you create the instance of that particular class. Even if I don't call it, if I right click and run the program, run as Java application, so it is getting called automatically. Although I did not call it, I just created the instance of that particular class. Is that right? So first try this and then we will discuss more on constructors. So you will observe that a constructor is a method, right? I said it's a method. It is special method because its name is same as the name of the class. Plus, it is called automatically. You don't have to call it. Okay. One more thing which needs to be mentioned is that constructor does not return any value. So like a method returns a void or an integer or a string, a constructor does not return any value. All right. So this is a constructor, one constructor. Now let us create one more. No, what is the purpose of constructor? The purpose of constructor is to, what is the meaning of word construction? Meaning of word construction is that you want to initialize some values. So let's say this construction is a class and it has, I'll say int age. Age is nothing but age of this construction. Okay. So when I create an object of this class, let's say I create object of construction 2 equal to new of construction. If I do like this, then what does the value of age, what is the value of age for construction, and the first construction here in the construction 2, it does not hold any value, right? When it got created, I did not assign any value, right? In the previous example we said instance, and instance name dot attribute name equal to some value we did in the case of person, isn't it? Remember? But in this case I did not assign a value. So let's say I want to make sure that whenever an object is created, its parameters, what are the parameters? These are the parameters, or its, sorry, not parameter, its attribute has some values. So I can say age equal to 10 here, right? Age equal to 10 here. So for all the objects or all the instances that are created, for that the value of an attribute age is going to be 10. So this method is called during construction time. Yes, construction time meaning when the object is created. And when the object is created, that object will hold the value age. So if this is a memory, okay, and this is an object I created, inside that there is an attribute age, right? So that age should hold a value 10. Why? Because in the constructor I have set it to value 10. So if I now display the value of sysout as sysout of construction dot age, what will be the value? It is going to be 10, right? And if I did not, okay, let's run this and let's run this line of code. Here I'll say, okay. So if I run this code, in both the cases the object will hold the age as 10, right? 10 10. Yes, no. Now what? Now these are the default values. Default values meaning, sorry, not default values. What I mean is that when the object is getting created, you want to assign some initial values to the attributes. Yes, so I've specified the initial value or a default value of that particular object. For that particular object, the values of attribute. Is that right? Yes, no? Is it clear to everybody? Yes?
If I say int age equals to 20 and if I in the constructor I make it as 10, then
Where so if after this you change it, the change will get updated, right? So during construction you wanted some value to begin with, original value. But if you change it after that, that change will be reflected and it will be updated.
Value.
Yes, it will be updated with the new value. But so for example, you create an object and you want to make sure that it should always have at least minimum of age as 10. Below that it should not have. So I will give it a value 10. After that, if you think it should have value 11, 12, you can make change here. So if you after that make change here, so after the construction, if you make change here, so let's say after this construction, I say construction dot age equal to 20. So I change from initial value to 20. So now this value will become 20 and this will still remain as 10. Right? So if you right click and run as Java application, first one is 20. Why? Because I have changed the value from 10 to 20. So what is the what is the use of constructor? The use of constructor is that when the object is getting constructed in the memory, you want to assign default values to its attribute, that is known as object construction.
In function, we were assigning it later. Here we are assigning while creating the object.
Yes, while the object is getting created. Yes, that is right. What does construction means? When it is getting constructed or created? Yes. Okay, so please quickly finish the changes in this program and then I'll come back to continue next topic. What is the concept of method overloading? Java, we just discussed, right? Yes, so with same method with a different number of attributes or arguments or different types of argument. Okay, so like now the problem with this program is that for each object that is getting created, it is initialized with the value called 10, isn't it? Everybody has an age 10, but it might be possible that you want to give it some different age every time an object is created. You might want to give a age, custom age, but during the creation of object. So when is creation happening? When you say new of that object, new of that class, right? Yes, no. So you can define one more constructor. I'll copy this and paste this and I'll pass some value here as int val. Okay, so if you will see, this is same constructor with an argument here, right? So this time I can call a construction construction p equal to new of construction, and in this I'll pass age as 25, for example. So what it will do, it will go to this method. Why? Because it has a matching argument and it will give age as 10 for that particular instance. Which particular instance? This instance. Yes. And if I just sys out of construction tree here dot age, what will be the value? Sorry, what will be the value? Why 10?
25.
Won't it go to that method at line number 10? I'm calling a constructor, I'm passing an argument. You just did method overloading, right? That depending upon the argument, it will call that method. So here if I'm passing argument, it will go to this method. Oh, sorry.
It's 10 here.
My mistakes. Yes, you are right. I should have changed this. Yes, sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
So it will 25, right? So this is what I. So 25 will get passed here, and if you display the age, now it should give you 25 for the second one. So right click, run as Java application. So it is giving age as 25. So this is called constructor overloading because it is the same constructor with different arguments or different number of arguments. Yes.
Yeah.
And the purpose is that we are creating object, and during creation of object you are assigning some values to the attributes of that object. This is known as constructor overloading. And one more thing, please note that a constructor which has no argument is called a default constructor in Java. Default constructor is a constructor which does not have any argument, and the other constructor is called parameterized constructor. A parameterized constructor is a constructor which has arguments. So we have looked at constructor which is a default constructor, and this is a parameterized constructor, and this concept is known as constructor overloading. And constructor is a special kind of method, right? Why it is special? Because first it has the same name as the name of the class, plus it does not return any value. So next thing which we are going to look at is inheritance. What is inheritance? So what is the meaning of word inheritance? English meaning of word inheritance?
Something inherits generation from previous.
Yes, that's right. So anything that is existing, you get, like we inherit features, attributes from our parents, right? Similarly, there is a concept of inheritance in Java. So suppose I have a class car, okay, and then I have a car, two different type of car. One is Maruti and one is Hyundai. Okay, so this is Maruti, for example, and this is Hyundai. Now each of the car has something called start method functionality or start functionality, right? Start engine. So what one thing I can do is I can define that functionality here, here, and all the three places. Okay. So the problem will be that if it is same functionality, why don't I put it in one place and use it everywhere else, right? Because the problem is that if I put it three places, if there is a change I have to make, I have to go and make changes in all the three places. Yes, but if it is at one single place, then a change made in one place will reflect all the changes in other places, right? So we got code reusability plus ease of maintenance. Okay, so this is achieved by inheritance in Java. So what? How do we do it? Let's say this class Maruti extends this class, and this Hyundai extends. Sorry, Maruti extends a car, and Hyundai extends a car, right? It extends means whatever is in car, all these features will be available here, and this all will be available here. Okay, so let me explain that with an example to you. It will become clear with an example. So let's say I go to, is there a car here? Okay, Hyundai, let me delete Hyundai. Okay, so I will say class my car example. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'll create a class here, class car, open close bracket. So it will give error with saying that car already exists. So car, I'll call it 100. Fine. Now this car has string, color, and it also has, okay, for the time being let's not put color, let's only put one methods, void start engine. Yes, and then here I say sys out of method says start engine. All right, a simple method. The main here I can create instance of that class. Yes, and I can create instance of this car 100. For example, this is a car. I'll make instance of this car equal to new of this. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yes. Oh. So I'll put it here. I'll delete this and I'll simply call that method, and we know it works that it will call that method and display the value whatever is inside that method. Right? So we know what is going to be the output. It's not a big deal, but anyway, we'll run it. Okay. Now, if I want to create another car, let's say I create another car class, my Maruti. Okay. This is an independent class, right? If I want to extend it, I'll say extends extends of car 100, car 100. Okay. When I say this, what happens? All the features that are available in the super class car, which is car 100, will be also available in the subclass, right? So it means that if I create instance of my car, my Maruti equal to new of Maruti, for example, and then if I say Maruti dot start engine, if I do this, I can do it. Why? Because now my Maruti has a method which has got inherited from superclass in this class. Yes, no. Therefore, I can do this because of what? Because of inheritance. Okay. So now if I run this method, I click run as Java application, it will show start engine 2 times. One because of this and one because of this. So basically what has happened is whatever method was available here, by using the keyword extends, if you will see here the keyword extends, all the method which was available here is made available in the subclass. It is like I inherited features and attributes from my parents, right? So this is called inheritance in Java. Can you please write a program